Hey everyone, this is Judi with JLBCrafts. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for giving me a try. I hope you guys had a great holiday season. I can't believe it's over. It's not technically over while I'm recording this, but it will be by the time this posts. Anyway, if you were too busy and you haven't started your lettering yet, that is totally okay. We ease into it. We do a lot of drills in the beginning because we just don't know enough letters yet to do full words. But you'll see as we get into February, there are fewer days each week of the drills. Well, actually by the end of January, and we get fully into just letters and words. So we don't have too many more drills to go, but that's okay. It eases us into it, and it's actually harder than it looks. So we are here today to do our second week of 2022. We're going to do January 3rd through the 9th. And for this particular week, and I did have a question why the 31st isn't on here. If you look in the Lovely Letters Planner, the 31st actually falls along with the first full week in February. So that'll be on the February sheet. These sheets match the layout of the months in the planner. So they're not, as you can see, there's some December in here because these days actually fell with the first week in the planner of 2022. So these match the pages of the planner. Whew. Okay. Anyway, so on the 3rd, we're going to start with some drills again, but then we're going to spend more time on letters. We're going to add a second letter. We're going to add the letter C this week to the O that we already know. Now, not all of these are actual words, but again, I like to be able to do double letters when I can. I want to start a word with the new letter and end a word with the new letter and have the new letter in the middle so that we have all the different combinations of connecting to that new letter. At least that's for the first 26 weeks. Obviously, when we get into capitals, there's no reason to learn a capital in the middle of a word. So that's way down the road though, but I'll get there. I am confident. So, all right. So I'm looking out my window and we are still having all the beautiful snow here in the Pacific Northwest, which is kind of rare for us. We get warm air in off the ocean, and so it actually makes it kind of rare to get snow. So I just absolutely adore it when we do get it. So I have the winter collection book from Amber Plans Her Day. And there are, I love, you guys, I love these florals. I'm going to use these. You'll see lots and lots of blue. I feel like January is the month for blue, which is my second favorite color. I could definitely use these, but I feel like the red and green kind of makes it just a teensy bit more Christmassy. But definitely looking out the window, having the temperature be as low as it is, I want to use these. So, oh, and I did not pick a Simply Gilded washi tape to go with this, so I will be right back. So I have here my swatch book. This is just a traveler's notebook. I actually got it at Walmart a couple years ago in the back to school section, and it comes with these little notebooks inside. And the reason I do a swatch book is because the washi tape looks different on paper than it does on the roll sometimes. So here are my Simply Gilded washies. This one has blue and green in it. I don't know if you can see that. It does. So let's grab that one in the skinny version. And as you can see, I just label this is actually my order date and the name so that I try not to get duplicates. So not that I need the name, but when she has sales and stuff, that helps keep me from getting old. So here is that one in the skinny. If I can get it out of there. Oh my goodness, come on. There we go. It's not a tight fit, but it's not enough room for me to get my finger in there easily. Okay, so I'm going to do this one along the edge. So you can see it's a little bit brighter and lighter on the page than it is on the roll. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward and do my normal washi tape along the edge and then florals down the center and across the top. So feel free to skip this part or just enjoy the music if you like to watch it. So there are coordinating bullet points in here. So let's grab a few of those for the assignments. There we go. I'm just going to rotate through the colors. Probably not the brown. I'll skip the brown. I'll just do the blues and the greens. So we'll go ahead and write in the assignments. So on the third, we're doing up, then down. And then we're going to do a wave drill. And guys, feel free to switch these out if... The wave drill is not my favorite because it's a continuous line and you don't have a chance to move your hand. But so, you know, you can do whatever you want as long as you're getting an up, down practice to help work on your muscle memory. Okay, then we're going to do the letter O again. We're going to practice it again. It's the first letter we learned. We learned it last week. Now we're going to add our new letter into the mix. We're going to learn the letter C. And once we learn more letters, we won't repeat the letter from the week before on its own. We'll only repeat it as part of a word. So, but there aren't that many words you can make with 2 letters. So next we're going to do Ku. And then we're going to do Coco. Not spelled correctly, I know. Well, Coco from the movie. And then Oko, which actually is not a word, but it gives us the O in the places where I wanted to put the O. And I like to stick to 3 or 4 letters because that way you repeat it enough times to get the practice in. So, all right, there we go. I am going to pick my pens and zoom in and we'll get started practicing. Alright, so these are the pens I've chosen. I have the blue Tombow Fudenosuke. I know a lot of you guys have a Fudenosuke, so this is the stiffest pen I have. And then this is a new one I didn't use last week, I don't think. This is a Calliograph by Archer and Olive. And my favorite thing about these is both ends are brush tip. So one is the same size as the Fudenosuke. And the other end is a big brush tip that uses twice as much space. And I'll show you that tip. But that's the second stiffest. It's roughly the same. It's definitely in the same neighborhood as the Tombow. And then these two are the softer ones. So this is one of the Pentel Touch brush sign pens. And this is one of the Le Pen Flexes. All right, so I'm not going to do my separate warm-up. If you watched any of my videos from 2021, you know I used to do a warm-up, but this, I feel like these drills here that we're doing at the beginning of the month of January are enough of a warm-up. So we're going to do up, then down. Not the curve. You could do the curve if you want, but so we're just, think to yourself, think it in your head, light up, lifting, light, heavy down. Light up, heavy down. All right, next we will go to the Calliograph. I'm going to start with the fine tip, but at the end I'll show you what the fat tip looks like. Light up, heavy down. Choking up on your pen. Hold up higher than you think you need to hold. And you can see my thin upstrokes are a little fatter with this pen than with the Fudenosuke, the Tombow, and that's because the tip is just a tiny bit softer. Okay, let me show you now the really fat end. Since I'm not writing letters, this is the okay amount of space, but if I do a light up, I can still keep it pretty thin, although it is kind of in between those two, and then a heavy down. Look at that, you guys. Look at that. So that's why it's important to get the right size brush tip for the amount of space that you have in your planner. Okay, next we have the Pentel Touch brush sign pen. Light up, heavy down. light up, heavy down. Again, remembering to hold way, way, way up high on my pen. And last but not least, the Le Pen Flex with the pencil grip on it. Okay, so that was our first exercise. So we're gonna go rotate through the pens in the same order. Again, we're gonna do the wave drill. So again, this doesn't matter if you start with an up or a down, as long as your ups are always light and your downs are always heavy. Light up, heavy down. Scooch your hand. So after a little bit of experimentation, you can see it's definitely not a good idea to lift your pen and scooch in the midst of a curve. It seems to work the best for me to do it on a straightaway. But keep in mind, guys, this is not a normal problem you're going to have to worry about. You are drawing each letter when we get into the words, and you'll have plenty of opportunities to lift your hand and scooch. Scooch your hand or scooch your paper. That's a technical term, by the way, scooch. I am going to go ahead and switch to the fat end of this just to show you. So the fat end really does make it easy to get great, huge difference between the thin and the heavy, but it needs more room. So we're going to start by looking back at the O and practicing it again. So here was my O. It's pretty easy to find. And I encourage you, when you do look back, look at what you were doing toward the end and not what you were doing toward the beginning, because you learn and progress and change as you go. And probably where you ended up is closer to where you want to start. Heavy down, light up, heavy down, connector. So you can see how the wave drill, practicing this curve at the bottom, helps you with this curve at the bottom of the O. Alright, I'm going to switch to the fat end, you guys. And the first thing I'm going to do is try to make it the same size as this tiny little guy with the fat end, and you're going to see what a mess it makes. So, heavy down, light up, heavy down, come around. There's just not enough space. So let's try making it twice as high. Heavy down, light up, heavy down, connector. See how you need so much more space to make it look really good? Alright, time to learn a new letter. So I had a couple questions on my first video. How much of this do you recommend doing in a day? Once a week? Obviously I'm doing all of mine in one day for the purposes of filming this video. And my answer to that is it depends. It depends on what your schedule will allow. If you can really, really reliably practice every single day, then go ahead and do every single day. For me, I think for a full year with life and stuff happens, I think trying to do every single day might be might cause you to start to drop off a little bit. So honestly though, I think the most important factor, especially when you're first starting, is when your arm gets tired. So by now, if this were my first year, if I were just starting out, my arm might be starting to get a little tired. So maybe you do a couple days at a time, 2 or 3 days at a time, and you stop when your arm gets tired. and you do some warm-ups the next day, grab some scrap paper, do some warm-ups, and then move on to the letter C. So it's what's sustainable for your schedule and where your muscle is at in your arm and your hand and your wrist. Because if you push through and it gets painful, it's gonna get sloppier, and you're gonna not be happy with the results, and you're gonna want to quit. So all of that being said, I digress. Let's go ahead and learn the letter C. So here's the letter C on the other page. So we're learning all oval strokes right now. No ascenders, no descenders, just all variations on the oval stroke. So start using the same motion as the oval stroke, but rather extend the tail toward the dotted midline to finish. Now, one key difference here, guys, is if you're doing your O like me, I'm not starting where you need to start for the C, right? So this is gonna be a little bit different, at least if you're doing like me. They had you start the O in the same place as the C, but I don't care for the look of that, so I changed mine. For the C, we are going to have to start over here on the right at, say, the 2 o'clock position. So the dot is where you start and the arrow is the direction you're going in. So a tiny little light up, come around heavy down, and then a light up, swinging way out. So that's what you're going to end up with. And that C is just fine. I'll go ahead and show you my alternate sources. But you know, there aren't a lot of variations on a lowercase letter C. So here is the Fudenosuke, the free download. I have these linked. They do a lot more of a curlicue. So they're actually starting above the midline, light. They're doing a little tiny, delicate light down, light up into a heavy down and a light up, and their tail's a lot shorter as well. So stylistically, I don't care for this font. I very rarely use this font, but I like to show it to you guys anyway. All right, next is the Rainbow Calligraphy book, which I got at Dollar Tree, but you can also get it off of Amazon. I do have it linked. And they're not doing any kind of a curlicue at all. You can see the dot, so they're just starting here at about the 1 o'clock position and coming around. Nothing fancy there. The other calligraphy book, I'm gonna stop showing this one, guys. I'm gonna skip this one because this is more of a foligraphy alphabet there. And then, let's see, is that all I have? I have my favorite, which I end up using most often, is the Calligraphy Made Easy book, which I got at Walmart, but I did have someone mention in my comments on my first video that they did find this on Amazon. So I will try to find a link for this on Amazon and link it in the cards, or I'm sorry, in the description box. So here are the minuscules. Remember, lowercase letters, the technical term is minuscule. So we're going letter C. So theirs is just a little skinnier, a little sharper, I think. But, you know, basic. I mean, there's not too much difference you can do there. And then there is no alternate letter C. There's just not a lot of difference there. So, all right, so let's get started. We'll come back over here. So the thing that it took me a little while to get used to on this, for the very first time, we've always pulled the pen, right? Our point is going that way, and we've always kind of pulled and let the tip trail. For the first time, well, not really for the first time, because we have to do it on the O, but you're starting out with pushing against the direction that the tip is going in. And for me, at least last year, it took a little tiny bit of getting used to that. So we're gonna go a tiny little light up, push against the tip of the pen, heavy down, light up. That's really all there is to the C, you guys. So it's just a variation on what we were doing up there. So tiny little light up, heavy down, long light up. And you need that long so that you have, when we do our first word and we stick an O on there, we have a place to connect. You want to make sure that this little start is opened up enough that it doesn't, if it gets too close, it's going to start to look like an E, right? A lowercase e. So they're starting to look like an E, this much more like a C. All right, let's do a couple big ones. I'm not even gonna bother doing a single. I'm just gonna go ahead and do a couple that are double high. There. Let's squeeze one more on there. One of the other things that you're having to wrap your brain around on this is where to start, picking your starting point, estimating how much room you're going to need to the left, right? Like here, I didn't pick a very good starting point, and those are pretty squished together. And this is going to change because we're writing single C's. When we go to start writing them and connecting them purposefully, that space is going to shrink. So all right, there we go. Now the dynamics are going to change a little bit on us over here because now we've got to worry about connecting these letters. So don't be frustrated with yourself. You'll get a feel for it, okay? So starting with the tombow, I'm going to do my C that I just did. So light up, heavy down, light up. I'm going to make sure and give myself enough of a tail. Try to bring the tail to where I know I'm going to start my O. And I know I like to start my O about halfway down. So heavy down, light up, heavy down and around. Same thing, I'm going to connect another O there. Heavy down, light up, heavy down, and a tail, a light tail. So you're squishing your letters a little closer together. You're now thinking about where do I want my tail to end. Okay, I'm going to try to squeeze in one with the fat end, double high. That would be Calcifur, guys. Telling me it's lunchtime. He's sitting in front of the window, so let's try to get our last two words done. So we are going to do Cocoa now, and that way you have a C on either side, you guys. And this is one of the things the book doesn't really explain, is how to connect your letters together. So this is going to be interesting. How you connect to the C. We're gonna go light up, heavy down, light up. We're gonna put an O on there. Heavy down, light up, heavy down, light out. Now we're gonna start our C. We're gonna guess where to start our C so that when we come around, we just hit the tip of that tail that we left. Now the nice thing is, when your pen flexes and gets wide, it's pretty forgiving. So you don't have to hit it right at the edge, right? So light up, heavy down, light up. And there, I started over too far, so I didn't quite connect. So I gotta extend that a little, and it looks a little awkward. There, so let's try it again. We'll start over to the left a little bit further. Okay, so I'm gonna start over a little further. There we go. And that's why I like to put the new letter at the beginning, at the end, and in the middle, and a double even if I can. Don't rub your face on the end of my pen. There's nothing like a cat rubbing his face on the top of your pen to help with your hand lettering, you guys. What, baby? Are you hungry? He's rubbing his face on my light. Just look out the window a little longer. Let mommy finish. Dude. It may take a little practice, but you will start to get a good feel for your spacing and where to start your letters so that they can connect nice and cleanly. Uh-oh. Now they're both on my desk, you guys. I'm gonna have to stop and do lunch. There's Jazpur. Oh, cat fight on the desk. Okay, I am gonna go ahead and switch to the big tip because I don't want to underestimate the amount of space I need. So let's go ahead and do the big. And you guys don't have to do this. I'm just doing this to reinforce the space it takes on the pen. So if you're trying to use a Tombow dual brush pen, it's got a really, really big tip like this and it's not gonna fit very well for you. There we go. They do look beautiful, but they take a lot of space. One word left, Jazzy. One word left. Let us do our last word, okay? Just look out the window for 5 more minutes. Okay, so Oko. And in later lessons, I'll use this as my warm-up space, but it's a great space. I'm not going to use it as part of the video because if, for example, you break up your hand lettering into do half a week, half of the week and do it 2 different sessions, you've warmed up here and you did this, then you can warm up here and finish with this or whatever works for you, but definitely use this as warm-up space. Use it as practice space to figure out what you want your letter to look like. Use it whatever way benefits you. So, all right, OCO, not really a word, just wanted to get the letters in one more configuration. So heavy down, light up, heavy down, come around, heavy down, light up, no problem. Started my C over a little too far, that looks a little gappy right there. Oh, oops, I threw an E in there, guys. I don't know what that was, sorry. The cats are distracting me. I think E is next week, you guys. So I felt like my C was too closed up there and it looked more like an E. So I started further to the right and I overcompensated and now I have a big gap there. So it happens, you guys, it happens. Almost done, Jazzy Bean, almost done. Not even 5 minutes, dude. You can make it. Thank you for holding my paper down. Oh, no, now I can't see what I'm doing. Go over to the side just for a few more minutes. There, we made it. We made it. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm gonna zoom out and grab my practice from a year ago where we only knew the O and the C, and you guys can see the comparison. All right, so look how fat my completed love letters from last year. Here we go. So I did change the words up ever so slightly, but here you can see. So light up, then heavy down. So I've got much better definition now in my line widths. Wave drills look about the same. You can see where I changed from starting on the right side of the O to starting more on the left side of the O. Actually, you can see it right there. Right there I changed mid. So this is discovery, you guys. Don't be afraid if you don't like the way something's going. There, I changed from the 3rd line to the 4th line. And that's what I have today. And then there's my C. my tail got a lot smaller, because once I learned once I started practicing connecting the letters, that needed to change. So, and then here's my other page. So we did Ku again, Coco. Instead of doing cuckoo though, because that was a 5-letter word and you could only write it so many times, I threw in OCO just to get us a word that started with an O, because that is going to occur. All right, so there we go, you guys. I hope you like this video. I hope you're getting a great start at this and you figure out what works for you and what doesn't. You're figuring out what pens you like and what pens feel great in your hand, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. So I hope you like this video. If you do, please help me spread the word, especially now while it's still early and everybody doesn't feel like they've missed too much to start. And please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you.